fair. But I mean, I think part of the thing, you've seen part of the statement where they were unhappy with maybe the qualifications of some people certainly contributing to the KMI.
Suggesting, Burnsy, that these people aren't qualified to understand what the rule book actually looks like.
Pretty much, that's it in a nutshell. That's the bottom line. And in fairness, I think that the people that they're probably referring to are maybe fellow reporters like ourselves. Who I'm not certainly.
Listen, I'm not.
But
nothing to do with me.
There are, I mean, obviously, I'm told written reporters in it. There are broadcast reporters. There are broadcast commentators involved in it. These are the sort of people I would suggest that Dundee United would be saying are probably not qualified. Do you know what I mean?
That's fascinating, because we had Des Roach on last night, Burnsy, and we're discussing this exact, and it was that part of the statement you're looking at saying, they're clearly saying that the guys that are making these decisions and sitting in judgment of the referees aren't referees. And my kind of gut instinct was former players. I had no idea it was dimwits like us from the media that were getting involved in it.
Look, I'm happy to confirm now, guys. I am on the panel, and I think all my decisions have been great.
You could be right. You could be. Who am I to argue? No, look, I mean, as you say, Keith, there are club reps on it. There are ex-players. There are ex-managers. There's a wide variety of people selected for each one. I think there's 5 for each panel, but the media are certainly involved in it. You know what I mean? So. But how did he pick the media who are involved, etc.? And you can understand why the clubs would be unhappy with members of the press ruling on some of the decisions.
It depends which member of the press, really, doesn't it?
No, but all jokes aside, Keith, if you Dundee United, you can see why they're cracking up. I mean, it seems really arbitrary. How do you pick these people? I mean.
I suspect that there was a bank of well, let's say just people then who were put forward for previous disciplinary committees, and I'm guessing, and I know there are some former players involved in there. But Burnsy's actually shocked me. I had no idea about guys from broadcast and written press.
There are some professional people on there as well, lawyers, etc. Different.
Yeah. But they had this group of people who they would fish from for various disciplinary things. It is very possibly that they have used the same group of people again. But that one I find odd for the simple reason that you really need to have an in-depth knowledge of what the rule book looks like in order to sit in judgment on a referee's decision, because that's effectively what the job entails. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get using a former player if it's like a tackle, and I encourage that. I like former players to have a role in here, but what Burnsy's telling me is something completely different and quite unexpected, I have to say, and I could understand why clubs might have issues with that.
I can understand why the KMI is there. I mean, it's obviously
it's a good thing.
The comment is to look over the incidents and make sure, like the SFA and referees, etc., are not marking their own homework. So I get the independent body. I'm just a bit taken aback as well, like yourself, with some of the people who are on it, and I'm referring mainly to media types.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what. I mean, see, if it was me, right? Let's be cynical about it. What am I going to do if I was on that panel? What's the most controversial thing that you can do here? What could you do to get the ultimate story? That genuinely would play a part in it.
Is that not what happens anyway?
What, when I sit on the panel?
No, just in general in Scottish football.
No, but do you know what I mean? That is actually that could be described as a vested interest. If I was sitting in that panel and thinking, I tell you what, see if I have a right pop at this decision, or I do something controversial, cracking back page, cracking story. That's a vested interest.
Yeah.
I find that there should be no vested interest in that room. Absolutely none. It's meant to be completely independent, neutral. I'll say it again. I'm surprised, and it's a great bit of work for Burnsy to uncover that.
I think it was you last night, Keith, used the phrase a kind of groundswell regarding other clubs. I mean, I think if other clubs are made aware of this,
well, they will be aware because they'll have representatives sitting on these same panels, so they will know. But it makes you understand why there is a level of dissatisfaction around the whole thing. And St Mirren have come out and had a go at VAR. Dundee United have come out and had a go at this review panel. It's starting to feel like the start of a pile-on. And I think you might find, as we were discussing last night, I'll be quite surprised if this is where it stops with just two clubs. I think there'll be more voices. And I think it could become a really, really heated debate.
Well, I mean, Marzuno there in the comment section, we're now third guessing referees. And when you put it like that, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, like, I just feel that football's fine before all this. I get it's good to have the KMI panel, maybe. Just leave it alone, guys.
Just follow the Norwegian lead.
Aye, perhaps.
They've binned it off, Burnsy, and Sweden never took it on in the first place. Burnsy, because I've put my cards on the table with this. I think we should be using technology if it's there, if it helps us get more decisions right. And I think there's no disputing it. We all have our complaints and grumbles and gripes about VAR and technology, more so probably the use of it and how certain individuals might be utilising it. Can we use it better? I think so. But surely, in essence, the whole theory of the thing is you've got technology, it should help referees to make the right decisions. And in 8 out of 10 cases, it probably still does, even though there are some outliers and anomalies. Are you not for it in principle, Burnsy, or are you sick of it?
I was for it in principle, but the way it's going now, I think it's a mess. I think we should maybe even mothball it and try and work on it to try and make it better. But as it stands, Willie Collins saying more sorries on a Monday and a Tuesday, and he issued red cards through his career. You know what I mean? There's that many blatant errors, and like how often, like every top flight manager's getting a sorry on a Monday. Well, that's all right, but it's maybe cost his team 3 points. That might make the big difference when it comes to European places, relegation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you take it away, Burnsy, right? If you stop it tomorrow, right? And I'm here to be won over with the argument. Stop it tomorrow. You're going to get injustices. You're going to get bad decisions. That's not going to change. You just won't have the technology there as a safety net to give you the best chance of making sure the decisions are correct.
But then clubs are not paying out 6-figure fees for the privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, the clubs are paying for it.
Yeah,
they're not getting value for money, and in fact, a lot of them feel shortchanged about it. So, do you just continue it as is, or do you mothball it and then try and improve it, or what do you do? Do you take it away?
That is the other thing, Keith. We have got this sort of Diddy version of VAR, haven't we? It's not quite it's diet VAR.
I know, but it's got to be better than nothing. I genuinely think we can do it better. Do you know what my biggest fear of all is? That, Burnsy's right when it comes down to the pounds and pence of the whole thing. Clubs they're being charged for it. Where the clubs in this country make their revenue, gate receipts. That's where the vast majority of the money comes in through the gate. And the ones that I think are getting the worst experience out of VAR are the fans who turn up at the grounds every weekend. You can sit at home, watch it on TV, you've got a better idea if you're listening to radio. The broadcasters are getting some line into Clydesdale House, so they're better informed. But the actual guy, and this is something I'm uneasy with, the guy that's actually digging into his pocket, handing over his hard